landlord, Megan here. I'm with Raul.
Hello.
He's going to walk us through what to anticipate during title.
Sounds good. Well, thanks, Megan. My name is Raul Rodriguez. I am a title company closer. If you hear the terms escrow agent, closer, that's what I do. So, what I wanted to do is tell you a little bit about how a title company works for a buyer and together with the real estate agent, and what our role in that process is, what we do, what you can expect as a buyer from a title company, from your closing. So our role is going to start from the beginning. Once there's a contract in place, contract is the agreement between a buyer and a seller that gets sent over to us as a title company to start the title search. The buyers typically will put down earnest money that's held by us as a title company. That's pretty common. There's some exceptions to that. For the most part, title company holds the earnest money. That's going to be, we make it easy. We can either have you do that electronically through a website. If you wanted to bring in a check, we do that too. So that's the beginning. Once that title search is started, a buyer's working with the lender. We're also working with that lender. The lenders require title insurance, and so that's one of the integral functions of a title company. First, to do a title search, make sure everything's okay. Why do you want to make sure everything's okay? You as a buyer want to make sure that one of the biggest investments that you're making is protected. You don't have any claims, issues with that title. So once that title search is ready, we'll let everyone know. We'll let your real estate agent know, okay, here's what came up on that title search. Everything's okay, or if everything's not okay, what came up, can it be fixed? Most of the time it can. We as a title company also help clear up any issues that may have come up on that title search. So we let you know. So here it is. We let the lender know. The lender, of course, wants to review it and make sure that when they're financing, making a loan to buy a property, that their loan is also protected with a property that has clear title. So really, as a buyer, you may not see or talk to a title company much until it's time for the closing. So some time can go to the time the contract is signed and the closing takes place. I know a number that's pretty standard is 30 days. It can be slightly under that if everybody's ready. Sometimes it can get into a little bit over that for many reasons. So once a title company does the title search, gives the title search to the agent, to the lender, then once, as long as everything's okay, then really the process is between the buyer, a lender, and an agent. And an agent, I work with many agents. I love them all. They're like running an army. They're like the ringleader because they have to handle us, they have to handle the lender, they have to help you as the buyer. So they're really the ones that are the master of ceremonies, in other words. So with us as a title company, we're sort of on hold until the closing is ready to happen. Once we've cleared title, make sure that we've let everybody know it's ready to go. Our other function is to handle the closing. And by the closing, I mean, most people think of it as sitting down at the table and signing paperwork, which is what a closing is, but there's some behind the scenes things that need to be done between the title company and the lender, your agent, to get there. So once that paperwork is prepared, we work with the lender to make sure that we get what we need and they have what they need from us. Closing time is beautiful. I mean, I've sat in some closings where people are laughing and high-fiving. I've sat in some closings where people are crying and hugging each other. So it's a beautiful time. So once you're in the closing, you can expect, the way that I handle a closing, I want to make sure, which they should know by then, but there's always things that may be missed. You're dealing with a lot of paperwork. We want to make sure you're looking at very important things like all the closing costs, the statement, the closing statement. the payment letter, and the promissory note. That's part of a finance closing package, and those are the three most important things. So I always go with those three things first. The rest of the documents are pretty standard, so I'll give a good overview of what you're looking at, disclosures. So you can expect to sit in a closing anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes. I don't rush anybody because that's a huge step. So if it needs to be longer, it needs to be longer. It needs to make sure that you walk away from that closing, that understanding everything clearly, happy with everything. So it's not rushed, but usually it's about 30 to 45 minutes. So once we handle the closing, we also, as a title company, will handle disbursement. What does that mean? That means the lender that's doing the financing will send us the money. So we'll actually, because we have the money and we know what was on title, we know, okay, does this seller have a mortgage, which most people do. So we'll pay that mortgage. Our taxes paid. If they're not, we'll pay those taxes. Do they have any liens that need to be paid? We'll pay those off. That way, because we did that, we know that we can then turn around and issue you as the buyer what's called an owner's policy title insurance. And that really is the most important thing. That we do a lot of things in the process, but issuing that title insurance policy is the most important thing to a buyer, because it's one of the biggest investments that a lot of people will make, and you want to make sure that you're protected. And that's what title insurance does. Make sure, okay, there's not going to be I don't know, maybe there was a death in the chain of title and the heirs didn't get handled correctly. There's not going to be an heir coming back and saying, hey, I have a claim to this property. There's not. If there was, you as a buyer don't have to worry about that, because the title company did the title insurance. So that's the title company's responsibility to fix that for you. And that shouldn't happen, but if it did, you're protected. So that's just one example of many things that title insurance covers. Title insurance covers anything that could have a claim on title that happened before you as a buyer bought that property. Anything from before, you're protected. So with that said, just kind of recap, title company gets involved from the beginning. Once the contract is done, start the title search. We handle closings. We sit down, notarize documents, be a witness, explain documents as needed. Agents and lenders have their portion to explain if necessary. Then once the closing is done, we handle the money, the disbursements, what we call it. And then once all that's done, then we do the title insurance. So those are the main functions of a title company. I've been doing this for about 18 years, and so I thankfully have made a lot of good contacts in the real estate market in Kansas City, and so that really makes it to where I get people from all walks. I don't turn down a deal because of price or anything like that. I'm bilingual. I can do closings for Spanish-speaking buyers, and so yeah, I've done all different kind of closings, and it's really it's a happy moment, and I like what I do because of that.
Well, that's great to hear, Raul. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.